people that you can get to come into an administration and to work, why this Ingrassia kid when you know that bringing someone in like this to lead an independent agency of the Special Counsel, you know that this was going to get rained on because he is wacko adjacent. Why would you pick a young guy with no pedigree who does stupid stuff on a regular basis?
I've gone over this before, Cuomo, so take notes so I don't have to go over it again.
Hold on, let me get my glasses.
President Trump gets bored. So he says, how can I cause trouble? I taught high school. I had students like that in my class. They got bored. They wanted to cause mayhem. He's bored. He says, I'll do this. It doesn't mean anything to anybody, but I know the press will go crazy. It's like saying, I'm going to put crocodiles in the Rio Grande River. Okay? He's not going to put crocodiles in the river, but he knows the press will go crazy. He is bear baiting the media with this stuff. He knows it doesn't mean anything. This guy, I don't even know who he is. He'll go in, they'll give him an apple and a glass of water, and he won't do anything. I can guarantee it.
So, James, Office of the Special Counsel is usually seen as, giving major opinions. Like, for instance, the Special Counsel's office is where we got the opinion that a sitting president can't really be prosecuted. This was their guidance from the 1980s. That's the office he's going to lead. He's 30 years old, likes Alex Jones, likes to defend white nationalists. Do you think this is just to own the media and get you guys crazy?
So let me be very careful here. There's a guy that is appointed in charge of counterterrorism at the Department of Homeland by the name of Thomas Fugate. Look him up. This guy looks like George C. Marshall next to Thomas Fugate. Now, please, let's not say the head of counterterrorism is just a throwaway position, because I've listened to people all the time about what a threat terrorism is. You have a 22-year-old produce stacker that is running the Department of Homeland Security's counterterrorism division. Now you got this guy who's, I think was a Holocaust denier. Mm-hmm. You could not exist in the Democratic Party in any position if you were a Holocaust denier. I don't think you could. I know you would have any support from me. You would get no defense from me. And you'd say this is an outrage that this man holds any position in the United States government.
I'm coming to you, Stephen A., but I would point one thing out for the Democrats watching. In a most recent poll, your party went from plus 14 points in terms of being empathetic towards Israel after October 7th to now plus 43 points positive for Palestinians in that balance. So there's a shift in that party's sympathies on that issue. But back to this, Stephen A., what do you think of this appointment? Is it a smart move by Trump because he gets us talking about something that doesn't matter?
It has nothing to do with smart or dumb. And James Carville, we're aligned tonight, my brother. Just step aside, figuratively speaking, while I aim my thoughts at Bill O'Reilly. I know you didn't just try to come on national television, Bill O'Reilly, and get away with this. Now, you know good and damn well what Trump is doing here. Here's what Trump is doing, y'all. Excuse me, somebody that was a part of the whole January 6th. Some people want to call it an insurrection. Some people don't. What is Trump doing when he appoints this guy as a federal watchdog? It's the latest maneuver in validating in his mind how much of a robbery it was that he didn't win re-election in 2020, and the fact that the insurrection took place in the nation's capital, at the U.S. Capitol. It's every single move he makes is to point to the fact he never believed he should have lost. He believes that them storming the Capitol was completely justified because it was more than egregious that he didn't stay in as the 46th president of the United States of America. And by the way, anybody else you see him appoint, they might have been at the U.S. Capitol January 6th of 2021 too. Keep it. He's not finished. This is what he's trying to do. And you know it, Bill, because you know him. And I'm not saying, see, this is what the key, this is the key. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill O'Reilly's not lying to you. He's not lying to you when he points out the other elements of Trump, but they're the most innocuous things. They're the kind of things that make you go, okay, all right. But the real juicy stuff that involves this man and his thinking, oh, you gonna leave that out. Stop it, Bill. You know what he's doing.
Well, I couldn't leave it out.
We're gonna see some more people from the U.S. Capitol that's on it. Oh, come on, man. Stop it.
You left that out. He could be appointing you, Stephen A. Loves you, okay? You could get a big position in there. Look, you're not wrong about
he is our president.
You're not wrong about it. You're not wrong about it, but it's tiresome. Trump pardoned all of these people. All right, what more do you want? He's sympathetic with them. Yeah, there's no denying it. Nobody could, honest person.
What you just said.
Yeah.
You just talked about how he said he's going to throw alligators in the swamp, even though you know he's not going to do it because it's going to annoy everybody, right? He wants the reaction.
Right.
If you react on what he's doing with appointments like this, you might not pay attention to the tariffs. You might not pay attention to Ukraine and Russia. You might not pay attention to the big, beautiful bill and some of the elements that exist within it. There's a whole bunch of things. It's a basic tactic. You trying to tell me he's beyond doing that?
The only people who would fall for that would be the MSNBC viewers. So I mean, and there's not very many of them.
Let me take a break.
Look,
when I come back, I want to talk. Go ahead, finish your point, Bill. I'm sorry, finish your point.
Yeah, Smith is right about Trump's obsession with losing 20 and the Capitol riot. He's right about it.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.